So can you tell me how does this keyword works in JavaScript?
For normal function and arrow function.
Yeah, you can tell me.
Actually, this keyword for normal function has its own key. This has its own this. So whenever there is a console log and dot, suppose we have an object and the simple function is defined in it, then and we do a console log, the this dot name or anything that object has the properties, it will reflect. It will console log the whatever item is in the object. Whereas in arrow function, the object doesn't this keyword doesn't have an actually arrow function doesn't have a this object. It points towards its parent, so it takes from its parent and logs it.
Okay. Can you tell me what is the purpose of bind method in JavaScript?
Sorry?
What is the purpose of bind method in JavaScript?
Yeah. Actually, what we do is bind method can actually borrow a method from another object. For basically, it gives you a copy which can be invoked later. For example, if you have a variable and we use dot bind and then we pass some parameters, suppose name and location. So when we do it console log, print suppose the whatever name, it will, and then we can directly invoke the function. Basically, bind method, it does not invoke the method, but gives you the copy of the exact same method that can be means apply later.
Okay.
Actually, when it is useful when creating a function with fixed when the context is fixed, that time we can create a function and then revoke it.
Okay. How does JavaScript handle asynchronous code with async and await?
With
Async and await.
okay. So what happens basically? Async returns a what we can say. Basically async returns a promise. Async is used to handle asynchronous requests, and from async function a promise is written. And what does promise do? Promise returns three main stage: pending, fulfill, and reject. So whenever a task is appointed, the when the task is fulfilled, whether it is accepted or rejected, it gives the output. And await is basically the time taken for the promise to handle means the promise to handle it. For that await is used so that we can get desired output after the promise is fully resolved.
Okay. So can promise replace async and await? As you told, promise async and await returns promise.
Sorry.
Can we do the same same operation async operation using promise without async and await?
Actually,
Yeah.
We can, but it was used in class based.
Okay.
Function based are basically where we sugarcoat just the promise in async await.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So let's go more to different question. So what is the difference between map and foreach in JavaScript?
Sorry.
Map and foreach in JavaScript. Foreach and map.
Yeah. Actually, map is basically a method used for create new array by mapping the elements from an existing array. It basically creates a new array.
Okay.
And for each method is used to iterate over each element of the array.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, we can use map to transform elements in an array and create a new array with the transform values. It doesn't actually transform the values of the existing array, but creates a new one. Whereas for each, it creates,
How can you implement inheritance in JavaScript?
Can I?
How can you implement inheritance in JavaScript?
Inheritance.
Yeah.
Okay. Basically, for class functions, we can use my prototype. Let me think.
Yeah, you can use prototype inheritance.
I have mainly used with functional. Yeah, I have mainly worked with functional components.
Okay.
So, just give me a minute. We can do it in class. I know it is used by prototype, construction, function, and everything. Actually, I'll explain it. Suppose we have a class, class human, suppose, and there is a parent class name as Earth, and then we have and its child is human. That time, what we can do, we can create instance, and suppose we have a const name, then new human, and then we can directly pass the argument. If by first we have to add a constructor in the add constructor in the Earth Earth class, and then we means the human class is derived from Earth class, and then we can by using new we can console log, or we can add the data in different const.
Okay, fine. What is the purpose of set immediate function in JavaScript?
Set immediate function?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know the exact answer, but I have read it in a blog that it is used to execute the function, means right after the current event loop is finished, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, somehow. Yeah. Okay. So, can you tell me how do you create a responsive design in CSS?
How?
How do you create a responsive design in CSS?
Okay. There are multiple ways to create responsive by using CSS frameworks. There are different types of frameworks like Material UI, Bootstrap. Then if you are using just CSS and SCSS is basically the nested CSS. Then we can use Media Query for different screen sizes. Okay. Yeah, that's.
Yeah. Okay. How can you center an element both vertically and horizontally in CSS?
How can I
center an element? Both
justify content center and align item center.
Both vertical and horizontal. Okay, fine. Yeah. Can you tell me like what is the difference between absolute and relative in CSS?
Yeah. Uh, Absolute and relative.
Yeah.
Actually, basically, absolute absolute is the position which is nearest to its parent component. So, whenever there is a child component, it will if the child is given absolute, it will search where its parent is, and it will adjust according to its parent. Whereas relative is uh, it is moved.
Yes. Hello.
Yeah. Just absolute is also relative is also, but there is one difference between absolute and relative. Actually, relative. Relative depends about on the object position, means parent position, and where it is. So it will go there, and with the help of top, right, and top, right, left, we can adjust it.
Okay, fine. Yeah. Okay. Let's have some React questions. Okay, fine. Okay. So, can you tell me the difference between functional component and class-based component in React?
Yeah, actually, what was I saying? Yeah, function component has, as we discussed first, that this what I can say this this keyword, that is the one difference. The second is it's this keyword. Second one is they have simple syntax. Normal function doesn't allow it requires return function, whereas arrow function, if the return value is in single, it doesn't need a return function, it can directly perform the operation. Class component, arrow function basically has a class component, so it needs a constructor, whereas in arrow function it doesn't. And yeah, that's
Okay. Can you explain the concept of reconciliation in React?
Yeah. Actually, should I explain everything?
Yeah, you can tell like overall.
I'll start with virtual DOM.
Yeah.
So what happens is, whenever we load a website, that time, that time a virtual DOM is created, and whenever the user triggers or does some action on the website, it creates a new virtual DOM, and the changes are done in that DOM. So then there is a comparison between a new DOM and the virtual DOM which was created. That is by defining algorithm, the changes are made, and in reconciliation, the whatever the changes are done in the old virtual DOM, that are with minimum steps that are done in the old, means the changes are done in the old the main DOM, which is known as reconciliation.
Okay. Can you tell me the significance of key in a list?
Yeah.
Significance of key prop in lists.
Yeah, actually, it has what I can say. It is the it has the unique identify item. That means whenever a list is there and list has elements, so every element has its own key which uniquely identify each items, and basically it is used to prevent unnecessary complications and to search element effectively, or to optimize the rendering re-rendering when the list changes.
Okay.
Just a minute. Yeah.
Can you tell me what is server-side rendering in React and what are the benefits of using it?
Sorry?
Server-side rendering in React. What is server-side rendering in React and what are the benefits? Server-side rendering. Do you know what is server
side?
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I was not getting it. What is server-side rendering? Basically, in server-side rendering, HTML is created on the server side and it is directly sent to the browser. Minimal means the HTML is bundled up and sent to the server, whereas then the interaction and everything is handled by client side, means JavaScript and everything is that is done. So basically, it is used to make the site faster. React doesn't support this, but Next.js is extended framework of ReactJs, which is mainly focused on server-side render.
Okay, so what is the benefit you told?
It optimizes the time for loading a page. As the HTML is fully rendered on the client interaction will get faster. The SEO will improve because the HTML is already.
So you told, yeah, I got it. So you told React does not support server-side rendering?
No. I mean the Next.js is extended of ReactJS, which is mainly used for server-side rendering.
Yeah, that's fine. But does React support server-side rendering?
Yeah,
okay.
It does.
Okay.
But Next.js is used for mainly if we have federal component structure. That time Next.js is more convenient than React.
Okay. So can you tell me how does use effect behave when you do not provide provide a dependency array?
It will re-render on every re-render on every refresh, and if it is not means if the dependency array is empty, so it doesn't know when to only render, so it will re-render on every it will re-render on every data change.
Oh, every data change? Okay. Can you
as it doesn't have a dependency array, basically we give dependency array whenever the state is changed, so that time only the use effect will re-render. But when there is no data change, so it will repeatedly on every data change it will get a log of if you are if you are debugging it, so that time on every data change will get that use effect.
Okay. So means we are not passing any array, just simply we are not passing. Yeah. Okay. So can you use ref to store state in a component?
Yeah, we can. If we don't want the value of the state change on re-renders, basically useref is used to store the mutable values so that it won't change after every re-render. So we can use it. We can use useref for storing a state.
Okay. Okay, can you tell me what are the limitation of using use memo?
Okay, use memo is basically used to memorize the hard calculations or complicated calculations. The drawbacks are, so when we are storing calculations, it requires time for calculating and everything. So if we just store it in the use memo, if we don't have to calculate on every data change, means we don't have to calculate the calculations on every render or anything. We just have to calculate whenever the data is changed in the use memo.
Okay. How can you create a custom hook?
Formic hooks.
Yeah, custom hooks. Hello.
Okay. Yeah. I'm just thinking how I can by using formic hooks. Yeah, we can use by using use state, use effect. That we can use by using this state. We can make a custom hook by writing the logic in it, and then directly. One time I have used this custom hook for just name form for form actually. So whenever the data is changing, that time
Okay.
the hook was there.
Do you know what is suspense and lazy loading in React?
Suspense?
And lazy loading.
Yeah. I know lazy loading.
What is suspense?
I don't know what is suspense.
Okay.
Lazy loading. Lazy loading is basically the components are loaded only when it needed, instead of every time it is basically it is used. Lazy loading is used for performance optimization. So when we don't have to load every data on every render. So whenever the data changes or anything, that time only lazy loading. That time only we can load the data. For that, lazy loading is used. Suspense, I am not sure.
Okay.
But I have read that it is. But I don't know much about it, so I think it's just wrap the lazy loading component, but I'm not sure about every working details of it.
Okay. So do you know what is reader's thunk?
I have reused Redux toolkit.
Okay.
And yeah, basically Redux thunk use means it is what can I say? It is a middleware for handling asynchronous actions.
Yeah.
By means it returns functions rather than instead of plain objects. That is actually useful for handling the side effects for API calls, delays, or some other things. Redux, actually what happens is Redux only supports synchronous update by default. So what happens when we fetch data from an API? As we know, there is only one store. So when we fetching data from the store, allows you to dispatch asynchronously. So we don't have to wait for every action to get complete, and then only the other action will get completed. So it asynchronously run and reads different data and then uses.
Okay. Have you used reduce method?
Reduce in
JavaScript reduce method.
I haven't used reduce method in JavaScript, but
Do you know how it works?
yeah, it iterates over an array and it gives a single result. So it is commonly used for summing numbers and arrays, counting. Basically, it is used for calculations.
Okay. So if I'll ask you to remove duplicate values from an array using reduce method, can you do that?
Okay. Duplicate
Values from array.
using reduce now.
Yeah.
Let me think. Actually, we can use by storing unique elements key and checking if that element already existing before adding it. We can remove it by using reduce. What we can do, yeah, as I told, by using reduce for removing duplicate values, we can use values using means we can provide a unique value using key for everything, and then we can check if that element already exists before adding and calculating the other values.
Okay. How can you flatten a nested array?
How can I
Flatten a nested array.
flatten?
Yeah.
Flatten
a nested array.
Okay. How can I flatten a nested array? Actually, we can use reduce only.
Yeah.
Suppose we have a nested array, and then we have to create flattened means sorted array. That time, what we can do, we can create a different variable and pass the array to it. Then use reduce function. Then we can pass in reduce. We can pass the actual. We can pass the actual value and then we can concat.
Yeah. Okay, fine.